Do you want an unbiased, high-level view of where our industry is heading, what challenges lie ahead, and where the biggest opportunities are emerging for salon owners and stylists? Remember that your manufacturer and/or distributor partner might be giving you a fairly biased perspective of what's going on because they don't have that full perspective. If you've ever wondered what the future holds for our industry, this conversation will give you the clarity, perspective, and direction you need to achieve success not just this year, but into the future. Welcome to the Salon Scoop, the podcast that helps salon owners and salon professionals grow their business, boost their brand, and stay inspired. From salon marketing and social media to leadership and growth, we uncover the strategies and stories that move the industry forward. If you love learning, growing, and are serious about leveling up your salon business and brand, you've just found your new go-to podcast. Welcome to the Salon Scoop, everyone. Today, we are looking ahead at 2026 and beyond to get the scoop on what's really happening in the salon industry from someone who sees the full picture. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Leslie Perry, Executive Director, CEO of the Professional Beauty Association, to get her unbiased perspective. Why unbiased? Well, because the PBA is made up of salon professionals from all facets of the industry, whether it be salon owners, cosmetologists, manufacturers, distributors, and more. So she's able to pull it all together. In this episode, you're going to discover the biggest shifts that are quietly shaping the future of salons and how they may impact your business or career sooner than you think. You'll gain insight into the challenges that many professionals aren't prepared for yet and what smart leaders are already doing to stay ahead of the game. And you'll hear where real growth opportunities are for 2026 and for the next few years, so you can position yourself to thrive instead of react. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So Leslie, a huge thank you for taking the time to be with me today and to share your perspective with our listeners.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me. It is my pleasure to be here, and I hope I can deliver. That sounds amazing. I hope I have some amazing thoughts to share. I know I do, but I predict the future perhaps.
Well, the good news is I'm not asking you to pull out a crystal ball and guess
Okay.
because you have such an amazing connections already and a pulse on what's happening based on your role at the PBA that I think you have lots to share that just people don't know. So let's delve into this and give our listeners some of that insights. But first, I think it may be important, for those who may not be familiar, could you share maybe a quick overview of the Professional Beauty Association and the role that it plays in our industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a trade association. If you haven't heard of a trade association, what we do, we are here for you. So I describe it as like that best friend that you have who is really smart and super savvy, but you might not talk to them every single day, maybe not even every week, maybe once a month, but it's the person you can rely on. You know that they're there whenever you need them. And so that's what I think about the Professional Beauty Association. We are here for you whenever you need us, and we can help you with all areas of your business. And if we don't necessarily have the answer or the resources you need, chances are we're friends with those resources that you do need, and we can connect you to those resources so that you can thrive in your business in beauty.
Love that. And so that our listeners can kind of understand why you are uniquely positioned to speak on this topic, can you share what kind of interaction you have with all different parts of the industry? So we're not just getting a manufacturer's perspective or a
Right.
distributor perspective.
It is one of our strengths at Professional Beauty Association that we do represent, like you said, Scott, every part of our industry. So we work with manufacturers, distributors, salon owners, licensed professionals, and students, as well as the support organizations in our industry, whether it's other associations, tech companies, your point of sale companies, for example, scheduling software, and everything in between. And so we have that unbiased opinion, and we love everyone because we want everyone to be successful. We also know that we are more successful when all of us are working together and have a shared vision for what we can all become.
Well, we really have to, right? I mean,
Hmm.
regardless of the industry, I mean, these associations are important because it gives a forum for everybody to be able to communicate
Absolutely.
and connect and provide input and have their voice heard. And I've heard so many times. I used to be on the board for the Canadian version of the trade association, which is the ABA, and we heard all the time from cosmetologists or even salon owners that they didn't feel like their voice was heard, and these organizations, associations, really exist to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. So maybe, Leslie, you can share with us, kind of from your vantage point, representing the entire industry, right? How would you describe the overall health of the salon industry right now? Are we in a period of growth, stabilization, transformation, decline?
So what we see is it's transformation. I know that there are a lot of conversations happening about potential decline or that it's stagnant. Things, if you look only at revenues, for example, that might show you that picture. But from our position, we look at it as it is transformation. So there is still a lot of demand from our clients for beauty services. And even when an economy takes a decline, people still do prioritize how they look because it's one thing that they can do to make themselves feel a little bit better. Even during COVID, people still wanted to get their hair, they wanted something, right, to make them feel a little bit better. So beauty services are always well positioned for that. But what's changing and this where the transformation is starting to happen or has been happening is how are licensed professionals coming into the industry or those that have even been in the industry for a while, how do they want to work? What does that look like? What kind of flexibility do they look for in their career path? And how do we as business owners evolve to meet those needs? It's also really, I'm seeing a lot of transformation. We talk a lot because at PBA, we're very focused on business excellence and not so much on the creative side. We partner with educators who focus on creative, but we really look at we have to be business minded. We are running businesses, and there is definitely, from what I see, a lot of people really moving into that business aspect of what we do, not just the creative. And then finally, it's looking at how we do work, the flexibility, the autonomy, our purpose. So it might feel uncomfortable. Change can sometimes be uncomfortable, but transformation is really where we can all together level up. And we just have to start thinking about what does this evolution look like? And it requires a new thinking, new thought processes. And I say this all the time. I'm really big on it. Collaboration. We have to work together because it's the only way that we succeed as an industry.
Yeah, that is for sure. You mentioned that the way that people are coming into the industry, is changing, and the needs and the wants.
Mhm.
Can you share with us maybe how that is looking sort of today versus, maybe even 10 years ago? What differences are you seeing for what people are looking for coming into and entering the industry?
So a lot of what we hear, and we have a student program, so we hear it from our students. A lot are looking for a career path that allows them greater flexibility. They don't want to be tied to a really strict schedule. So they look at our industry as one where they can exercise flexibility but still earn a living that allows them to do the things that they want to do. We also hear a lot of students who talk about, I want to be a business owner someday. I want to be a business owner right now. Whether we believe that's the best path for someone straight out of cosmetology school or not, it is the reality that a there has been for years a growth in independence. So, looking at those professionals who, instead of choosing to work in an employed salon environment, choose to work in a suite or rent a booth in one of the salons, doing more. And I would say today, especially the younger generation, the Gen Z, and those up and coming are very entrepreneurial in their mindset. So it's very different than thinking, okay, I'll get my license and I want to work for this and I want to work for this big company, or they're very entrepreneurial in their career path. They see it so differently. They grew up with, they've grown up with this as a main part of their life, and they see they can make a living doing this and not just working in a salon. So the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well.
That makes a lot of sense. So So you're saying it's not just COVID. I mean, during the whole COVID pandemic, there was this, work from home, and I think people kind of got attached to that and
Mhm.
appreciated the flexibility that went along with that. And I was wondering, is it due to that, or do you think it's more just sort of a generational thing and sort of mindset shift?
I think it's both coming together. So it definitely, I think COVID not only changed our desires to maybe have that flexibility and have a career where you could work from home, but it changed personalities. It reframed for a lot of us what's important in life. And so that idea of flexibility, family coming first, doing, the life is short, do what you have the most passion for and not necessarily chasing just where the money is. I think that definitely through that pandemic timeframe accelerated things. We actually, with our Beacon student program, see more students who are coming in as a second career choice than we have ever before because they went through the pandemic and thought, man, I always wanted to do this, and my parents at the time told me I couldn't. Well, you know what? I want to do it now. And so we see a fair number of second careers going up because the life is short. I want to do what I love, and this is what I can do. But then with the Gen Z, they're coming up at a time where that really transformed them, and I think they also feel transformed by everything they want is really at just it's right here in the palm of their hands, and they view work differently than even like than my generation did. They don't view it as the hustle culture and work hard, play hard too. It's just they want more balance in their life,
Yeah.
and as opposed to just giving everything to work.
And I think everyone listening is feeling that. Either they're feeling it themselves if they're
Hmm.
part of that newer, let's say, mindset, or if they are part of the older mindset, they're seeing it in the younger generation. Everyone wants flexibility. That's a key word that's been utilized. I'm curious if there's anything that you see, just kind of given your perspective, something that you see that maybe salon owners or salon professionals are not realizing yet, maybe some trends that are materializing as a result of this, or something else that you other trends that you see that maybe are not as apparent to others.
So so many people who do choose to become a licensed professional or go into this industry, if you talk to them about it, it's because they love to work with their hands. They love to be creative. They love the idea of helping people. And that is, that's driving you into this career path, and you have a talent for it, and you want to nurture that talent. And where maybe in the past talent was enough to get you through and build this amazing career. What we see now is that having some level of structure, intention, this idea of what I call professionalization. So we're licensed professionals, but professionalization of beauty is also really important and accelerating. So our clients are really educated and they're more selective. They are watching TikTok, right? They're watching YouTube how-to videos themselves. So they come into the salon with a level of education or knowledge that previous clients weren't coming into the salon with. So the expectation around consultation, experience that they get when they're in salon, expertise that we have has to level up. And I would say there is going to be this growing gap between professionals who treat this as something they wanted to do as a hobby, maybe as truly a career path, and business knowledge, really treating this as, this is a business. It's not a hobby. It is a profession. It is a great way to make an incredible career. That's your competitive advantage. So you have to really blend our right brain and our left brain together. We need to understand the artistry, but also have the infrastructure and the expertise around sound business practices, which I know is not the fun part, but that's the part that will keep you successful long term, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like what you talk, the left and the right brain, the beauty and the beauty and the brains has
Yes,
to
the
kind of
beauty and the brains.
the beauty and the brains has to come together in this industry for you to be successful. And I like what you're talking about, the business angle and sort of education, and how consumers are way more savvy than they used to be. So their expectation, right, is very different than it used to be. It's much higher. So I'm curious, Leslie,
Mhm.
um, whether it's from a salon owner standpoint, and let's say a traditional commission-based salon that has employees that are recruiting, or a salon professional cosmetologist who's kind of working on their own independently as a solopreneur, are there specific concerns or areas of focus that you believe are important as it pertains to education, and maybe if we're talking about recruitment from a salon standpoint, what they need to be looking for when it comes to workforce to make sure that they are either bringing in the right people or providing the right support to allow people, salon professionals to flourish.
So I think, you touched on it when you said education. There's still, even though we have a lot of education in our industry, there still is really the lack of the right kind of education sometimes, or the lack of us investing in the right type of education to further our careers. So if you're that licensed professional, and we have lots of talent, but you don't know where to go with it, and maybe you are super passionate about the industry, we see it with our students, but you are unprepared on the business side. But let's say you couldn't find a salon home in an employed salon environment, and you try to do it yourself, but you don't have the business skills. And so then you're not as successful, and maybe you have early career burnout. And that's happening because your expectation is, oh, I thought I could do this. And, within 6 months, I would have a full book of clients, but reality doesn't match that. And so we're losing professionals that way. On the same side, education around how to be a great leader, right? If I am a salon owner, and I'm responsible for my employees, what kind of leadership am I providing? What kind of leader am I to recruit the right stylist into my salon? And it's not all about schools, right? Like you hear, we have the butting of heads, right? There is that idea that, well, schools should be preparing the students for what they're going to see in salon, and schools are saying, no, we're preparing them for the foundational, and then they learn that in salon. And so we also have to realize our role as salon owners, as leaders. What does that look like as a leader, and what do I need to provide for my staff to keep them engaged, to help provide the right type of environment for them to be successful? And instead of, we also hear, right, from salon owners, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. Well, that's not the case. They do want to work, but they want to work in their the right kind of environment. And what are we doing to match the environment to the expectations, to leveling all up together? So, I mean, broadly, the education is that piece for our industry that we still need to be focused on, the right kind of education, and then being willing as licensed professionals, salon owners, to invest in ourselves, invest in the right kind of education.
Let's delve deeper into the right kind of education, because this is one of the biggest disconnects that I feel and that I hear in talking with industry professionals constantly. When you talk to an actual salon owner, service provider, and you say, what do you need more of? Very often they say, what, we need more education, right? Whether it comes to business building or, we need more education around, how to master, digital practices, or how to, manage finances, whatever the case may be. We need more education. Then when you go and talk to manufacturers, distributors, maybe you feel this yourself from the association standpoint, I hear that these companies are offering so much education, and yet nobody is signing up for them, right? Nobody is registering for these classes. And so there's a frustration on their end saying, we're hearing, the salon professionals saying we want education. We're providing all sorts of opportunities for education, and yet nobody is signing up. And it seems like there's this disconnect. What's your viewpoint and takeaway from this?
I agree that there is a lot of education available. There's not as many people taking right? Like classes aren't necessarily filled. But it's like, but where, so shouldn't we be like the smartest industry on the planet? Like where there's all this education.
Where's the
So sometimes,
intersection? Like, what do we
where's the
do?
intersection, right? So for me, I look at it and see there's all this education, but sometimes it's almost overwhelming. So 2 years ago in 2024, we did a survey of licensed professionals and salon owners, and we asked questions in all of these areas of the industry. And we asked specific questions related to education. And so, yes, majority said, yes, we need education. So then we said, well, what topics, like where do you think you're lacking the most education? And the majority said, and I don't know if you would be able to guess, they all said they want more social media training. So they narrowed in into them. So like in their mindset, to them, social media is, well, that's how I'm going to get more business. If I just understood social media, I could drive more clients to my salon. Social media is my answer, right? And while I'll say, yes, social media can be a part of it, as a marketing professional, social media is a small part of it, but the actual client recruitment, marketing, all of that's a much bigger space to play. And so where we actually see there is the biggest need for education, and I'm talking even salon owners, but also licensed professionals, is around that personal development and leadership. Because with leadership, strong leaders, that leads to strong teams. Strong teams leads to, the healthy clients, and happy, healthy clients lead to great business. And so we see it as the perceptions, I think, are a little bit skewed as to what we want and need for education, and maybe what really will impact our business the most. I've talked about it at PBA as, I also understand that some of the leadership concepts, business training is not the most sexy of training. And we love the idea that, so after social media, like the next most requested training in our survey was around technical education, right? So yes, we always need to stay up to date and know what the trends are, and how to execute well technically. So to me, the best education is when we can marry those together. Marry something fun and sexy with technical education, but also teach the importance of, well, now that I know how to do this new skill, what do I do with that to actually make money in my chair? And that way it blends the desire to have something more fun and sexy and exciting training, but also with something that will impact your business. Because even if you do the best balayage, best haircut, whatever you do, if you don't know how to run your business and be a strong leader, that won't matter in the end.
Yeah. It's tricky. I would just, my
It's
message to
tricky.
anyone, and my message to anyone out there who says, they want education, but they're not finding the right thing. Look more, ask your sales consultant who works with you. Go and talk to the PBA, right? There's a slew of education resources that they're an amazing resource for you. Come and talk to us. You know what? We're connected. We do trainings, but it's not, we can point you in the right direction because we're here to support the industry, and make sure that everybody is feeling like they have the tools and the resources to thrive. That's what we're all here trying to achieve together. So please don't say there's not enough education, I want more education. It's out there. You might have to take a little bit of onus to find it, because as you said, Leslie, sometimes there's maybe a bit of overwhelm because it's like there's just so much, but it's coming from all different places, and I don't know,
Mhm.
which is the right one, and it's kind of like exhausting. So, all
I'm
right.
glad you brought that up too. Not to belabor the point, but the idea that it's overwhelming because there's so much, that's also something you had mentioned. Your distributor, sales consultant that you're working with, they know what direction to point you in as well, because they're working with a lot of brands, they work with independent, they themselves are putting on education. PBA, we vet out education and resources. And so when you're overwhelmed and don't know, or maybe you took a class previously and felt like, oh man, I made that big investment and it really wasn't the right thing, and you're a little shy to spend the money again and make the investment again, that's where groups like us come into to play with you and help you decide where is the best education and where can I find that, and not feel like I'm so overwhelmed, because we've already been overwhelmed for you. We've done that work for you, and we can help point you in the right direction.
Love that. All right, let's talk a little bit. And you mentioned more and more people wanting that flexibility and kind of, the entrepreneurial spirit, thinking they want to go out and sort of either run their own business independently, or everybody wants to be, a salon owner in some capacity. Are there any kind of emerging business models or service trends that you believe are going to shape the next maybe 3 to 5 years of where the industry is heading right now?
So we actually are starting to see a desire from stylists who maybe went independent to want to go back into a team environment and work in an employment-based salon. And I do see that's such an important part of our industry, foundational to the success that we had in the beginnings of our industry decades and decades and decades ago, to where we are today. I don't think there's one right model. I think there is this evolution. And again, I call on all of us to come together to talk about, what does the evolution look like? What should it look like? What is one of the best models for us to support and make sure that everyone who chooses to build a career in this industry has an opportunity to be successful and to thrive? So we see a lot of hybrid models where maybe a salon owner has both employees, but also maybe has a room or several of their stations that they rent out to more experienced professionals, so that they don't have to leave the salon, but that individual is ready to build their book. They have already built a book of business and want to keep them in that salon environment. And so there's that potential as a business model. But really it's not necessarily so much about what model is right. It's what's the best model for you, for your location, for your business to be successful, and also to be consistent with it. I think that's where we sometimes get in trouble, even with a hybrid salon where you've got it's a little bit loose, or all of a sudden we're creeping in on federal employment law issues with a renter and an employee, so that's where it can get sticky. But if we're consistent, we're clear, we have policies and strategies that are legal in practice to begin with, that's where we can all succeed. But I do think it is evolving, and I'm going to say this a lot. Let's all come together and talk about it and build a really great future together.
And I'll reinforce this. The PBA is such an amazing resource. So if you're out there, either as an independent, or you're a salon owner dealing with these situations where you're unsure of like the legal ramifications of having a renter or an employee, or both, and these hybrid contracts and whatnot, the PBA is an amazing resource for you to just go and ask questions. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
one small area, but just don't hesitate to try to figure things out on your own. And asking Google or
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, go to
Yes.
the actual
But
industry.
Google said, yeah. Or yeah, now it's, well, my chat GPT said, well.
The resources that exist at the PBA have way more knowledge and experience dedicated specifically to your situation in the salon industry. So utilize that resource. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. All right, let's focus a little bit on let's say the traditional commission-based salon for a minute, because I think they are the ones that have been suffering the most over the last 5 years post-pandemic, as there has been an exodus of service providers going to work independently. From your perspective, again, seeing it across many different regions, working with different brands and distributors, what are some of the most successful salons that are commission-based salons that are still able to be successful today? What are they doing differently that maybe other salons could be learning from?
They have been willing to learn. They've been willing to be vulnerable and understand, I might not know all of the answers now, or things are changing. They're willing to bend and be flexible and meet their employees where they are, and figure out, how do we still maintain a clear culture and expectations, but also offer the flexibility and that kind of work environment that our stylists are asking. I use my salon where I go as an example of a salon that is just killing it. And another thing that they've done is, and the owners have told me, that they had to ease up a little bit on dress code, right? That was something where they had to realize things are changing, things are evolving. We still want our staff to look professional and on trend, but we can give them the flexibility within, again, clear guidelines and clarifying that for their staff, but that makes their staff happy, right? To know that they have a little bit of say in their dress code, for example. There's communication is huge. And this goes back to what I've been talking about around leadership. They've found ways to invest in themselves and to be strong leaders. So there's communication and coaching. They have strong financial awareness. They're investing in themselves and they're regularly either attending industry events and trainings and classes so that they can maintain their business, whether it's the pricing model they're using, productivity, profitability. They're investing in their team and holding trainings and development. And I really think the biggest thing that they're doing is they realize that I'm not alone, I'm not on an island, and I have others. I have a team of people around the country that I can reach out to. And again, from my perspective through PBA, that's what we do is we can connect you to other salon owners who are facing similar things and what they've done to be successful so you can learn and grow together.
It's fantastic advice. You used the word flexibility again in there, and
Use it a lot.
which is great because you need to understand, right? As a leader, you need to understand what your employees, your team members, what they want, what's important to them, and then find ways that you can provide that to them within the infrastructure of your salon environment. Because if you don't, they're just going to leave and go find it
Hmm.
elsewhere. I mean, that's the reality, the simple reality of it all. So I love everything that you said, finding ways to provide more flexibility. You used the example of the dress code, finding ways to communicate, improve communication, understanding that's part of it is being able to, have those dialogues, have, better coaching conversations. So it's not a dictatorship, but it's really an
Hmm.
inclusive way that you're actually like welcoming their feedback. And because if they want to be entrepreneurial, it's like, how can I allow somebody to still feel like they have some entrepreneurial value and spirit that they're bringing out within the infrastructure of our environment? And you could utilize a lot of that, if you think about it and listen right to them to really understand what
Hmm.
their needs are, and then find ways that they can actually blossom with that under maybe your guidance coaching, and then they can still get all the benefits of being part of a team and having the culture, because at the end of the day, that's really important for a lot of people as well.
Hmm.
There's this divide between, well, I want flexibility and I want to kind of have my independence, but I do like, I like the social aspect, I like the team
Hmm.
environment, I like the culture, I like the support, and sometimes people don't feel like they can have both, but that's where salon owners have to really work hard, I think, to provide that.
Yeah, and I think with flexibility, when I use that word, it's broad, right? Like you said, like dress code flexibility. Flexibility doesn't just mean, oh, I only want to work 10 hours a week, right? I mean, you said it. What does flexibility mean to your team? Because it might look very different than what you think they mean when they say flexibility. So it really is having that open door, having dialogue, and being transparent and honest with them too, so they understand the pressures you face as a business owner. Don't hide that from them necessarily. Be open and share that with them.
Totally makes sense. Leslie, what gives you the most optimism about the future of the beauty industry, given everything that you know and you see?
You know what? It's the people. It is the people. I really believe, I mean, we have such incredible individuals that are working within our industry at all areas. So, from manufacturers and distributors down to our salons and our licensed professionals, we just have just an incredible group of people. I have worked in other industries, and there's no other industry where the relationships are so deep. They're not just surface level. And we all, the passion really drives us to be successful. And it's the best industry in the world. And that there's nothing better that you could ever possibly do than be involved in one aspect of professional beauty. And the people make me very optimistic that we can come together. We can maybe agree to disagree on certain things, but at the end of the day, we all want this to be successful and are willing to work with each other to make it successful. I call it co-opetition. I've been saying that a lot lately too. We cooperate, even if we are competitors, we can still cooperate with one another, and not, share, you know, specific business secrets that we don't want the other to know, but we can still cooperate for the betterment of what the industry looks like in the future.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a great one.
co-opetition. You can use that.
We've got to give credit to Leslie Perry. And
I probably stole it from someone much more brilliant, but
well, we'll keep it going. I think I like that aspect. I mean, the cooperation within the industry is so important. And, we talked about, the trends in the industry. We did an episode several months back about a new industry reporting project that's happening. If you haven't heard about this, a lot of companies in the industry and the POS softwares are collaborating, right, to be able to provide for the first time ever actual concrete data that's showing the true growth of the industry, by region, by salon type, service versus retail. I would highly encourage you to look into that. It's actually called the KIM report, KIM. You can check that out. But I would say go and listen to the podcast episode that we did around that. You'll learn a lot. I think it'll give you insights into, again, what are some of the trends from a data standpoint that are being seen today. All right, Leslie, we're going to finish up here by focusing in on the individuals. We talked about the salon owners there a few moments ago, but if we're talking about actual salon professionals, cosmetologists, if you could give one piece of advice, right, to these individuals in order to set themselves up for success for this year and beyond, given all the changing landscapes, whatnot, for the individuals, what piece of advice would you give to them to be successful?
oh my gosh, there's so much, right? Focus on the people. It is so technical skills are important. I mean, people want and have expectations for what their hair, their skin, their makeup, whatever the service that they're coming in for. They have expectations, certainly. That might get them in. Your technical abilities might get them in to see you, but what will keep them as long-term clients and that will give you long-term success is your focus on the people and remembering the work that we do and the people skills that requires. Don't skimp on the people skills for sure. That's definitely where it separates the good from the great, the better from the best, is on the people skills, not necessarily just the technical skills.
And some things never change. There's a famous industry quote that says, the consumer doesn't know the difference between a good haircut and a great haircut, but they do know the difference between a good customer service experience and a great customer service experience. And I think, Leslie, that's exactly what you're saying. Like, you've got to focus more attention on that amazing experience that you can provide, because that's what sets us apart in this industry, that they can't get elsewhere, right? And that they're not going to want to leave you if you make them just feel amazing every single time that they come and visit you. So keep that in mind. Amazing advice. Thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing some valuable insights with us today. If listeners want to get involved with the Professional Beauty Association in some capacity, what are different ways that they can, either from a membership standpoint or just involvement in general?
Certainly. So, I mean, it all starts with membership, and I encourage you, if you don't feel you're ready to make that commitment yet, is just follow us on social media, get a flavor for who we are, our personality that we have, and a lot of the things and benefits that we share via our social media channels. And it's just at Pro Beauty S.O.S. On all of the different platforms. But that's what I would say first is no hard sell. We're here to help. Like I said at the beginning, we're the best friend that's always here when you need us. And if you're not ready for the full-on membership experience just yet, you can be a friend of ours and follow us on social.
Amazing. And where can they follow you? What's the handle?
It's at Pro Beauty S.O.S. It's kind of I know. ASSOC, yes.
We'll have it in the show notes.
I wish it was like something really catchy, like at PBA, but that's probably like the Professional Bowling Association or something.
Yeah, it is actually. I think when you go to Google and put in PBA, so you've got to look for.
There you go. Yeah. Professional Beauty, yes. Pro Beauty S.O.S.
Love. All right. It'll be in the show notes. Thank you so
Perfect.
much again, Leslie, for
Thank you for the
contributing.
opportunity, Scott. Always great to talk to you.
It's a pleasure. I think what makes conversations like this so valuable is perspective. And Leslie and the Professional Beauty Association, they see the entire industry, not just one brand or one business model or one point of view. And what becomes clear, right, through a conversation like this is that our industry is transforming, right? There are real challenges ahead, but there are also incredible opportunities for those that stay informed, that stay educated, and that stay engaged. So if today's conversation helped you see the bigger picture, share this episode with another salon professional who cares about the future of our industry. Because the more that we understand where we're going, right, the better prepared we can all be to grow, lead, and succeed together in this co-opetition opportunity that Leslie has presented. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Salon Scoop podcast. This show is produced by Salon S.O.S, a digital marketing agency by industry professionals for industry professionals. If you want simple and affordable solutions for any of your salon marketing needs, such as websites, client loyalty, Google search rankings, social media, or more, come visit us at salonsos.ca or on Instagram at salon.s.o.s. If you want to hear more episodes like this and help us continue to bring the industry great content, it would mean so much to us if you would support us in one of the following ways. Either share this episode with one other industry professional and rate the show on Spotify or write us a quick review on Apple Music. We want to hear your feedback. If you have follow-up questions or ideas for future episodes, please reach out. DM us on Instagram at salonus.s.o.s or hit us up on our website again at salonsos.ca. Again, thanks so much for listening. Now go get your hustle on, keep smiling, and we'll catch you on our next episode.